Today we're playing The Freshman, Book 1, Chapter 14, The Ashton Affair. Moments ago. Is this the girl you wanted us to meet? Yeah, this is her. One of your classmates, darling. Actually, she's my fiancé. What? James shoots you a pleading look. What should I do? Play along. Sorry, James, I didn't realize you'd already told them about our engagement. I'm Cinnamon. It's nice to meet you. George Ashton, and this is my wife, Olivia. A pleasure. Mr. Ashton shakes your hand. Miss Ashton gives you a polite nod. They glance at Vasquez. And who's this? James looks to you at a loss. You clear your throat and step forward. Allow me to introduce my grandfather. Your what? It's all right, grandfather. I know your memory is sometimes a little shaky. I am not a senile old man. There. You pat his arm and smile ruefully at James' parents. He's a little grumpy without his afternoon nap. Right, well, we'll be on our way shortly then. Mr. and Miss Ashton turn to you. Cinnamon, we'd love to get to know you better while we're in town. Yes, why don't you join us for dinner tonight? You don't have to do that. Besides, I'm sure she's very busy. Nonsense, James. She's going to be part of the family after all. We insist. All right. Perfect. We'll meet at the Savory at the Savoy at 6 o'clock, sharp. After Mr. and Miss Ashton leave. So you're going to tell me why your parents think we're engaged? It's a little complicated. I can't wait to hear it. James looks from you to Professor Vasquez. Vasquez busies himself with the papers on his desk. My parents want me to major in business, to inherit my father's investment company, to marry the right woman. Wow, that must be a lot of pressure on you. It was, until I decided to pursue my own path. Let me guess, you haven't told them you're still single and studying literature. No, I haven't. First, if they knew I was single, they'd pressure me to date some well-connected girl they've hand-selected. That doesn't sound so bad. I've never liked anyone they've picked before. Oh. And secondly, they wouldn't understand why I want to be a writer. Isn't it hard to keep that secret? It's what you love. It's not easy, but I have to stick with it, at least until I finish my play. Will you help me out? Behind you, Professor Vasquez clears his throat. I strongly believe she should. This is an excellent opportunity for you, Cinnamon. You mean for you? I never said it wasn't mutually beneficial. Go to dinner with Mr. and Miss Ashton and tell me all about it. I'd be honored to be James' fake fiancé. Thanks, Cinnamon. I'll pick you up at 5:30. You turn to leave. And Cinnamon, if you're having dinner at the Savoy, I suggest you dress for the occasion. I'll work on it. Back in the dorms, you find Zach in your rooms. There she is. I got all the texts and read them twice. You and James engaged. You move fast. I hope I'm invited to the wedding. Haha, Zach, can we stop thinking about the I do and focus more on the I wear? I don't think I have an outfit that will impress a pair of very sophisticated, fancy people. Not to mention James, right? Well, I suppose he will be at this dinner too. Hey, don't worry. I've already called a friend of mine. She works at an upscale boutique and can get you the perfect dress. I know this dinner will go much better if I dress up. No. I'd rather use all these gems on a story line. What do you think? It's a little plain, but there's nothing wrong with the classic look. I'm sure it'll be fine. Thanks. At 5:30, James appears at your door with a bouquet of roses. What are these for? Can't I do something nice for my fiancé? There, thank you for agreeing to do this with me. They're beautiful. So are you ready to go, or did you need to change? This is what I'm wearing. Is there something wrong with it? No, I meant to say that you look nice. That's more like it. He holds out an arm. Shall we go? Downtown, you and James walk towards the restaurant. I should probably warn you that my parents will try to intimidate you since we're engaged. Don't worry about me. I can handle myself. But we should probably get our story straight. What did they know about me? Very little. They know I proposed last week after we've been dating for a year, and that we met at a meet and greet for future business leaders. So I'm also a business major. Yes, and you take your career very seriously. You're even in the Sherman Jones Fellowship program this summer. I take it that's some super fancy fellowship for business people. Very astute. You're talking to a future CEO after all. What about my family, my hobbies, skeletons in my closets? I didn't elaborate, so it's up to you. Don't go overboard. Too late, I've already got it. My family's rich, I like golf, and my dark family secret is that my father pays people off not to talk about my incestuous siblings. That's twisted. Now I'm nervous. I'm joking. Don't worry. I'll stick to the script. I'll be the best fake fiancé ever. I'm holding you to that. He smiles at you, moves a little closer, and your phone buzzes. Sorry, I should get this. You open your purse and rifle through it, searching for your phone. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Did you ever hear back from Vasquez's daughter? Nope, I sent her a text yesterday to follow up, but there's still no answer. I don't think she's going to talk to me. Ah, here it is. You pull out your phone out and glance at it. It's Caitlin. I can get it later. No, please. I'll leave you to it. James walks a few paces in front of you. You quickly pick up. Caitlin? Hey, Cinnamon. I don't have anything going on, so I was thinking spa night. What are you up to right now? Oh, I have a dinner thing tonight. Maybe tomorrow? Okay, I'll talk to you later then. You hang up and catch up with James. Everything alright? Yeah, Caitlin's just seeing what my plans are tonight. Is she feeling better? What'd you end up doing once she got back from the hospital? Nothing much, a horror movie marathon. Then we all went to bed. It was a nice end to a crazy weekend. I'm glad for her, and for you. For me? Yeah, you were really upset at the hospital. You must care about her a lot. I do. Caitlin is a good friend. It must be nice to be friends with your suite mates. I wasn't nearly so lucky. I don't think I've kept in touch with anyone from back when I lived on campus. Were they that bad? No, we just had different interests. It's not like I regret it. I like who I spend my time with now. He smiles down at you and you nudge him. You're not so bad yourself, James. Thanks. You and James round the corner and approach the Savoy. All right, there's the restaurant. James reaches for the door. Are you ready for dinner, fiancé? After you, fiancé. Taking a deep breath, James ushers you inside. Inside the restaurant, a matron leads you to a table in the back. James turns to you. I hope you don't mind. James puts his arm around your waist and pulls you close. For appearance's sake. You want us to look like a couple, huh? Maybe you should move your hand lower. As tempting as it sounds, I don't think I should do that right now. But I'll keep that in mind for later. James keeps his hand firmly in your waist as you arrive at the Ashton's table. Right on time, you two. I've already ordered some wine to start. James, dear, didn't you tell your fiancé about the Savoy dress code? Dress code? Oh, it slipped my mind. She looks great the way she is, doesn't she? Anyway, it's great that you two could come out tonight. We couldn't believe it when James told us he was engaged. I was almost certain you didn't exist, but here you are. Now, don't mind Olivia. She's upset she didn't get James to talk to that one girl. What was her name? Vanessa Kingsley. But never mind that. This is our chance to get to know her. Tell me, how did you and James meet again? James and I met at a meet and greet. James was the first person I introduced myself to at a meeting for business majors. I don't think I talked to anyone else that night. Me either. You notice James' hands reach for yours, and you hold James' hands. You clap James' hands and smile at him. James smiles back. It was the best night of my life. You can say that again. Mrs. Ashton clears her throat. So Cinnamon, both you and my son intend to major in business. As my husband can tell you, it can be a hard path to distinguish yourself in. The road to greatness is never easy. I agree. I take my career very seriously. Actually, this summer I'm going to be part of the Sherman James Fellowship Program. I assume you're aware of it? That's an excellent program, and competitive to get into. I want to be the best, and I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I wish my son were that determined. I'm expecting him to take over the company that I've run for the last 30 years. You know, I built it up from nothing. I wouldn't have been able to do that without ambition. But James has never shown any initiative. That's not true. Then how come you turned on that internship at Kingsley's company last summer? It wasn't the right opportunity. It was the perfect opportunity. George, let's not get into this now. James will fall in line. I have something far more important to ask. What is that? You two have only been dating for a year. Why the rush to get married? Because we're in love. That's sweet, but are you certain there's no other reason you're interested in our son? What are you implying? James is an Ashton, and someone with our reputation can't associate with just anyone. I merely want to make sure an ambitious girl like yourself isn't in it to take advantage of James' position. Cinnamon isn't like that. James, I've got this. Do you really think I'm only marrying James for his name? You don't give him enough credit. James is wonderful. He's articulate. Words just come right out of his mouth. Cinnamon, you don't have to do this. I'm not done. James is also kind. He's considerate and thoughtful of how I feel. Not only that, but he's hardworking. He doesn't give up until he's finished something and done it well. And that's only part of the reason why I like him. He's not only my fiancé, but my friend. I know that he'll disagree with me when I'm wrong, and that he's got my back when I need him. I respect him a great deal. That's why I want to marry him. For a moment, no one says anything. Mr. and Miss Ashton look taken aback. I rest my case? It's all right, dear. You don't have to defend yourself further. In fact, I'm mildly impressed. Thanks. And it's clear you care about our son. Of course I do. As for me, I hope he doesn't disappoint you. I've yet to see him work hard when it comes to his career. That's not true. It's just not business that I'm interested in. What? What do you mean by that? James, what are you doing? You're right, Cinnamon. I don't know how long I can keep this up. After hearing what you said about me, let's just say you inspired me. Mom, Dad, I have no intention of taking over the family firm. What? I'm going to be a writer. That's what I've been working towards my entire school career. I'm going to take the internship at Kingsley's firm because I chose to work directly with Enrique Vasquez. The offer, you turned down a job to write? That's so preposterous, I can barely speak. James, I don't understand why you changed your mind. Did Cinnamon put you up to this? No, not at all. In fact, Cinnamon's not my fiancé. I knew it. Cinnamon did nothing wrong. I'm just tired of you trying to push the right job and the right girl on me. The two of you may not actually be engaged, but I can tell something's going on between you two. Are you romantically involved? James looks to you at a loss for words. Well, this has gotten awkward. I'm going to go. You rush outside, cheeks burning. You've pulled out your phone to text a friend when James runs up to you. Cinnamon, wait. Can I walk you home at least? Don't you have to deal with your parents? They can wait. It's probably better I give them time to, reflect. That's nice of you, but it's fine, James. The night's over. I'm not your fiancé, and we don't need to pretend. We can even go back to not liking each other like normal. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't want that. The thing is, Cinnamon, I do like you. Perhaps as more than friends. He takes your hand, his gaze meeting yours, eyes searching your face. James, I like you too. James reaches over to take your hand. And it only took having to pose as your fake fiancé to get you to say anything. It certainly helped clarify my feelings. He leans down, and your phone starts ringing. You gasp when you see the caller ID. I can't believe it. Cinnamon, who is it? It's Gabriella. Okay, Professor Vasquez's daughter is calling us. The Freshman, Book 1, Chapter 15, The Professor's Daughter. You and James are talking outside the Savoy restaurant when you're interrupted by your phone. Who is it? It's Gabriella. Hello? Hi, I got a call from this number. About my father? New critic, Gabriella. Yes, Gabriella, I'm Cinnamon. I'm your father's assistant at Hartfield University, and... Assistant, don't tell me that he asked you to contact me. Am I one of your assignments? No, he hasn't asked me to do anything. Contacting you is my idea. I found a letter he tried to write to you, and I had to find out why you weren't speaking. You did, huh? I don't see how this is any of your business. It's not really, but I've gotten to know him because I've been helping him gather experiences for his book. What? And he's been trying to talk to you for years. It's clear he loves you a lot. That man doesn't care about anyone but himself and his work. Look, you need to stay away from him. What are you talking about? I don't feel comfortable talking about this over the phone. Let's talk in person. Okay, I'll meet you. Name the time and place. Gabriella gives you details on where to meet her. After you hang up, you summarize the conversation for James. And so she wants me to meet her at some park in Greenfield tomorrow after lunch. She lives all the way in Greenfield? That's over an hour away. Yeah, I'll have to find a bus to take me there, I guess. I can drive you. We can head out after my morning shift with Vasquez. Are you sure? That's really nice of you. No problem. It's the least I can do after what you've done for me tonight. Thanks, James. Besides, I'm very curious about what she has to say. You and me both. The next morning, you stand in front of your closet. What to wear? Which outfits do you want to do? Fancy, of course. Let's go green dress. This look is just what I had in mind. A little while later, you drop by Vasquez's office to meet up with James. Hi, Professor. There you are. You're late. I am? I was expecting that report from last night on my desk this morning. You were serious about me writing up the dinner with James? Do I look like a person who kids around? Definitely not, but that's not her fault, Professor. I'm sure she can make excuses for herself. You're not her keeper, are you? No, but dinner with my parents ran late, so she wouldn't have had time to write it up. I take responsibility. I'll try to get it to you tonight. Fine, so how did it go? Did Cinnamon manage to impress the Ashtons? Cinnamon doesn't have to answer that. James, go find me that file on 20th century fiction writers, would you? James lifts an eyebrow, but leaves the office to look in Vasquez's file room. Now, Cinnamon, how was last night really? Miss Ashton did say she was impressed with me, but she eventually found out we weren't engaged since James decided to tell her the truth, so it didn't matter in the end. A shame. And how are you and James doing? James and I are maybe more than friends. Interesting. And that's all I'm going to say, so don't expect it in my report. Forget it was merely a question, though I should remind you that I only care about your life insofar as it helps me write. James comes back into the room. Found the file, here you go. Great, you're both dismissed. You and James pick up your things and leave. A few minutes later, you and James are in the parking lot, climbing into James' car. James pulls out onto the road, and soon you're on the highway, passing in and out of small towns. Are you sure you still want to speak with Gabriella? Yes! The more I talk to Vasquez, the more it seems like his entire life is lived through me. I want him to fix his own life. At the very least, maybe he'll be nicer to us. I doubt that, but I see your point. It'll be interesting to hear what Gabriella has to say. Yeah, I have to know why she's warning me to stay away from her dad. And beyond that, I want to know why she and Vasquez aren't talking. I find it so sad. I can't imagine not talking to my parents for so long. At the moment, I find the idea very appealing. Oh yeah, how'd it go last night after I left? After Gabriella's phone call, I went back into the restaurant to talk to them. Had they calmed down after your confession? Not really, no. My father reproached me for causing a scene at the restaurant, then called me a fool for abandoning my career. After that, he announced that he and my mother were going home to Manhattan. Are they going to disown you or something? They didn't mention it. I think they're still hoping I'll change my mind. I'm surprised you told your parents that at all. Do you think I shouldn't have? I think telling them the truth was the right thing to do. You were clearly miserable keeping it from them, and your lies were getting more and more elaborate. I have a vivid imagination. It's an occupational hazard. Not bad for a writer, but not great for someone trying to keep it secret. The truth had to come out eventually. It's probably better it happened now. We'll see how things unfold. Perhaps I'll also be seeking aid at the financial office next quarter. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. You were an excellent fiancé. I was, wasn't I? And so humble, too. Hey, you were lucky to pretend to have me. James laughs. You're right, I was. I did say you inspired me to confess to my parents. I remember. Did I really inspire you, though? Yeah, watching you try to cover for me made me realize I was tired of it. It's exhausting to deny who you are and what matters most. He gives you a small smile. You notice his one hand resting on his knee. What do? Hold James' hand. You catch James' hand in yours. He squeezes back as you drive on. A short time later. This is Greenfield. We'll be there in 5. Soon you and James arrive at a small park. You glance around to see a pregnant woman alone on a bench. As you approach, she looks up. Cinnamon? She's pregnant. That's right, this is James. He also works for your father. It's nice to meet you. We'll see. Thanks for setting up this meeting. We're very curious to hear what you have to say. You and James sit down next to her. I'm sure you have a lot of questions for me, and I'll answer any question you have. But I feel I should explain why I stopped talking to my dad in the first place. Okay, what happened? He used me to write his darn book. The winter of my sophomore year in college, I was having a hard time and dropped out. It was one of the worst times of my life. I leaned on him for emotional support. I trusted him. And he observed me, noted down stories from my life, and wrote all about it. So I cut him out. Gabriella, I can see why you stopped talking to him. It must have been upsetting. I haven't gone through what you have, but I've definitely been upset by some of the things Vasquez has asked me to do. Then you understand why it was so devastating. I didn't want anyone to know what I was going through. But the main character and I shared a birthmark, a car, even our dogs had the same name. Our family, my friends, people in our community, everyone knew who the book was about. Everyone knew deeply personal things about me. My father had no right to publish my life. He can send me all the letters he wants, but I know he just wants an ending to a stupid story. I'm not talking to him again. Gabriella sits back, her hand protectively settling on her stomach. You're not even going to let him meet your baby or your family? No, he won't hurt me again. I know better. But you might not. You're helping my father with his new book, right? Kind of, but it doesn't seem that bad. Well, let me ask you, are you really ready for everyone you know to learn your deepest, darkest secrets? Sure, I have nothing to fear. I don't know you, maybe that's true. But my father has a way of reading people. All I can say is stay away from him. Don't let him use you like he did me. You'll regret it. After you talk, James drives you home. A few minutes away from campus, James pulls over and parks in a small lot overlooking the city. James? Before I drop you off, are you okay? You barely said anything on the drive home. Oh, I was just thinking about what Gabriella told us. She was so hurt by Vasquez. I can't believe he published something so personal in a book. I can't say I'm surprised, though. Do you know which book it was? I'm guessing Winter in July. Now that we've talked to her, it's clear that she was the inspiration. Is it as bad as she says? It depends on your point of view. The main character is a college girl struggling with a severe depression, and the book doesn't sugarcoat what that's like, but that's also what makes it so poignant. I didn't realize it was about his own daughter. And now he's writing a novel based on my life. What if he writes something awful? If you really think he'd do that, would you quit? I guess I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't like having my secrets exposed, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. Not like it matters since I have my scholarship to think about, but what do you think I should do? You should stay. Why? It doesn't matter what Vasquez writes about you. You'll be happy if you stay here, with your friends and people who care about you, and me. James. James reached forward, his hand cupping your cheek. He leans towards you, and what do? Kiss him. Your lips meet and warmth rushes through you. You smile when he pulls back. This is a nice way of distracting you from everything. Just nice? More than nice. Good, I want to make you happy. You can start by doing that again. He tilts your chin up to kiss you, running his other hand through your hair. James wraps his hands around you and tugs. Oof. Cinnamon? The gear shifts in the way. Why don't we take this to the back seat? I like the way you think. You and James climb into the back seat. He lays back, pulling you on top of him. Better? Oh yeah, this is much better. He catches your lips again as his hands roam over your bodies, from your waist to your hips and up again. Are you okay with this? Trust me. You gasp as he trails kisses from your ear down your neck. I'm more than okay. Sometime later, James pulls back. James? He puts a hand on your cheek, tucking a strand of hair behind your ear. As nice as this has been, we should stop. You don't want to? You trace a finger down his shirt. Keep going. He catches both your hands. Believe me, I want to, but not right now. Not out here in the middle of nowhere. I want it to be special. Wow, you're such a gentleman. I hope that's a good thing. I just don't want to rush things. I can respect that. I want our first time to be special too. It'll happen soon, Cinnamon. I promise. Besides, you're getting cold. You suddenly notice the goosebumps on your arm and the chill that settled in the car. With a sigh, you sit up. Fine. James runs his hands up and down your arms. Let's get you home. A short time later, James drives into the dorm parking lot, his car idling. Thanks for the ride, James. James pulls you in for a quick kiss. My pleasure. You climb out and walk into your dorm exhilarated. That kiss. You open the door to your suite to find Chris standing just inside. Cinnamon. Chris, are you alright? I ended things with Becca. You did? I made a mistake, Cinnamon. I thought I was protecting you by staying away. But I only ended up hurting us both. I'm just hoping it's not too late to make things right. So I'm here asking if you'll take me back. For good this time. Chapter 15 is complete. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and leave a comment down below. Bye, guys.